X-Men Legends 1 and 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. All have been beaten without a full team wipeout. Now for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. Based on the Marvel Civil War storyline, I have far less experience playing this one than the first, but I'm happy to give it another go after so long. The rules are simple. If any character is defeated, they stay defeated, and I can't use them again. If all members of my team are defeated, I must reset the entire game and try again. All on super heroic difficulty, as I don't have access to legendary at this point. Now let's go see how Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 compares to its predecessor, and whether we will be able to survive a superhero civil war. So in the last game, we spent every moment stopping supervillains from world domination and general evil. This game, we begin by invading another country in the name of stopping them from secret weapon research, truly aiming to earn the American part of American superheroes. The craziest part is there are actual weapons, so it wasn't just a pretense for once. That's how you know we're dealing in fiction. Wolverine, Captain America, and Iron Man I can understand being part of this military op. But Spider-Man? We brought Spider-Man in for a secret military operation? He's powerful, sure, but not the individual I choose for questionable government activity. You do you, Nick Fury. I don't know what's worse, Spidey throwing an entire car at an oblivious guard, or that the guard survived it and got right back up.
But instead, I can give you a preview right now, free of charge.
Electric villains. Almost as bad as ice and fire villains, pun-wise. Leave the bad jokes to me, Electro. You clearly need more practice before you're ready to get jumped by the big league heroes. He's such a non-threat that I spend part of the fight chucking Wolverine into the laser gate nearby to see what would happen. Not a question of whether he can heal from it, more of a question of just how mad he'd get at it.
Try throwing those grenades right back where they came from.
Well, I did try. I don't know if that one stops at just being a knockout, but I'll trust the game's judgment on this. The Wizard and Scorcher are the second round of supervillains guarding Latveria, and I must say how delighted I am to see the Wizard. Sure, he barely says much before he's on the ground seeing stars, but it's nice to see him regardless, making a rare video game appearance. Scorcher's here too, but I must admit, I have no recollection of him, and I've even played this game before. When you wake up, I suggest getting better PR, Scorch. With their defeat, it's time to meet Bravo Team, aka whoever I choose to join us. And my god! What did they do to my beautiful Remy? He somehow looks even uglier than X-Men Evolution Gambit. Well, maybe. Great fit, at least. None of the heroes are real lookers this game, to be fair. Didn't know that was a side effect of that upgrade. Oh good! It came back. And of course, Johnny's rubbing it in. Using the Fantastic Four to beat up the Tinker's operation goes easy when I have the thing clobbering everyone with his full body weight. Before you know it, explosions are going off everywhere. The universal signal that Americans have been here. Oh yes, I'm sure experienced trial lawyer will come in handy quite often in the battles ahead. I feel not all trivia questions are of equal difficulty. One mechanic I really like about this game that the previous lacked was replacing heroes doesn't require any save point. I can easily switch them out whenever I please in the start menu, but they will keep whatever health and stamina of the one they're replacing. The Latverians are counterattacking us under the streets of New York, so it's time for a more street-friendly team. Saving Miss Marvel from Shocker is easy peasy, because it's Shocker. Oh Shocker, I never tire of seeing you in everything, always getting your hiney handed to you. The most shocking of all is that he actually escapes us and rendezvous with Grim Reaper. I forget Grim Reaper exists as a character every time I don't have eyes on him, but he's going to punish me for that by putting a serious strain on my team's health. I let loose targeted fusions, the team-ups of the game, to try and earn some health packs, but his scythe is tearing us to shreds. Sicking Wolverine on all his minions makes a big difference and keeps us in the fight long enough for Wolverine to die. That's not how this one's supposed to go. In one powerful charge, Grim Reaper obliterated Wolverine's health. It looks like death finally caught up with Logan, but he chose such an inconvenient time for me. Wolverine already did enough to Reaper that we can finish the job without much hassle, but there goes my dreams of an X-Men team. The unexpected negative of no rally point to switch heroes is that I can't switch the dead out for the living. So for now, I'm gonna have to make do with only 3 heroes until the mission's over. 3 against 5, as Shocker, Diamondback, Wizard, and Scorcher join with the cyborg Lucia Von Bardis to wage war on New York. We blew her up in our invasion last year, and she seems to want to return the gift. No, I insist on you keeping that gift to yourself. I'm a giver, not a taker, just as I give all boulders to the supervillains, making for very squashed and easily defeated villains.
I am no longer human, as you can see. Fury ripped that from me 1 year ago today.
We really need a calendar marking the anniversary of every supervillain foil or supposed death. Would make predicting attacks much easier. Despite her threats of killing millions as a living bomb, she's not in much rush to do so. Spinning her 4 unwilling sacrifices around her, all we have to do is pummel whichever one of them is unshielded in order to disrupt her detonation. Does she think about maybe not unshielding any of them? Then she just win. I'm sure they'll thank us when they don't explode though. Even though she's beaten, she's won in her own special way. The unsanctioned attack on Latveria is now public knowledge. Plus, her counterattack invasion did kill and hurt lots of people, so superheroes aren't exactly beloved right now. I'm sure Spider-Man can teach us all how to get used to that. Back in Stark Tower, Wolverine is automatically resurrected, so I can switch him out so he can rest in peace while I figure out the best team to deal with an irate public. Oh, I know. The X-Men. I can't think of a single time the general public hated the X-Men after all. Without a 4th available X-Man, let's toss in Miss Marvel. Rogue permanently has her powers, so this is the closest I can get to having Rogue as my 4th. Sorry, Remy, for not being able to get the genuine article. As the government gathers to discuss forcing supers to give up their secret identities and register as government agents, we go down to DC to promote resistance against this inane policy. But encouraging the government to make smart decisions not based on fear is far too difficult for us supers, so thank goodness a terrorist force led by Titanium Man shows up for us to fight. Much more suited to our abilities. Theoretically anyway, as I'm discovering that health drops are becoming less common and enemies more oppressive, leading to consistent close calls for the whole team. When Deadpool shows up for his obligatory appearance in every bit of Marvel media, I have to keep switching characters to make sure none go down to the merc with a mouth. That, and vandalizing every soda machine I encounter in search of health orbs. I doubt breaking everything will endear me to the people, but I think I'm okay with being hated and alive than loved and a martyr. Maybe. Get back to me on that. Storm continues to shine as she does in every other game, with her iconic lightning zapping away our problems. Plus, her kinetically charged tornado fusion with Gambit is pretty cool to witness. Unless you're one of the mercs being swept up in it, I suppose, but who cares about those guys? I have to wonder, is it moral that the senator we are rescuing is Stan Lee? This is a universe that he has a large amount of power over, so did he get voted in? Or did he write himself into power? And with the level of power he has over all of creation, shouldn't he be doing far more instead of playing hostage? I guess I have bigger concerns at the moment, but I'll be pondering this. Titanium Man faces off with us in one final showdown in front of Lincoln Memorial, because as any proper supervillain, he knows theatrics is everything. I smash him with everything I have, and he's in no hurry to crumple. Turns out, titanium is a very durable metal. Who knew? He keeps going invisible to buy himself more time, but it's pretty easy to locate him from his attacks. Fearing for Gambit's life, I use my last heal on him, but right after, both Storm and Iceman go critical. I know how commonly Iceman likes to bite the dust in everything, so I keep to Miss Marvel, spamming Ground Smash in order to maintain the aggro on her. After a fusion attack, I notice Storm is fully healed, and that makes me curious how much health Bobby has. That's a terrible mistake, as that instantly focuses aggro on him, and down goes Iceman. Just once, I'd like the kid to survive. 2 characters down, both X-Men. Really sealing in that I'm not getting that X-Men team.
Don't you see where this is headed? All it's going to take is one more slip-up by anyone in a cape, and we'll be lucky if registration is the worst they do.
On your feet, Nitro, and don't bother trying any of your stupid exploding tricks.
Oh, baby, don't you even know? You're playing with the big boys now.
Well, I just gotta point it out, no one there was wearing a cape, so we should be fine.
Last week's devastating explosion, Congress has rushed through passage of the Superhuman Registration Act.
Seems not. In fact, why does he keep talking about capes and the SHIELD agents deployed to stop heroes from now on are known as cape killers? Most Marvel heroes don't wear capes. Did they confuse this world for the DC one? Those guys are the ones hogging all the capes. Confusing, but you guys do you. Maria Hill, freshly promoted, really proves her skill as the worst director of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the shortest amount of time, as she escalates the situation by firing on Captain America because he won't help capture other heroes. This ensures he goes underground as the new resistance leader to forced registration. The president at least has a modicum of sense as he realizes Captain America is too great a symbol and maybe, just maybe, they should hold off on this insane new law. But Tony betrays everyone even further by saying, nah, it's fine, he'll handle it. That was like the perfect out for every super if the president was having second thoughts. Why would Tony squash that opportunity? Oh yeah, because this is Civil War, which means Tony is written as a full-on supervillain. If only he didn't take Reed with him on that path, ruining my Fantastic Four team.
If we do, the consequences...
Can't be any worse than burning the Constitution.
You're exaggerating. This is a temporary measure. Once things settle down...
I ain't buying it, Reed. And I can't believe somebody as brainy as you would.
How is it that the world's smartest man is somehow always the stupidest man when it counts? What's that? Because characters are restricted by not only the intelligence of those writing them, but also by the demands of the plot to force them down specific choices regardless of their character? Which is the most common reason behind character assassinations? Interesting. Interesting.
I ain't no government puppet, and I assume you feel the same way. There are worse things you could do than risk jail time to do the right thing. If you're scared, feel free to do what you're told. Just don't call yourself a hero anymore.
Registration's wrong, and I won't support a law I don't believe in, but I'm still a patriot. I ain't gonna fight my own government, so the way I see it, that leaves me only one choice. I'm out. Going underground till this thing blows over.
We already trust them with the cops and the military. Bottom line, we need checks and balances. Otherwise, more kids are gonna get killed. Just remember, we're supposed to protect people. Signing up for training and accountability is the best way to do that.
There's morality and there's practicality. I may have personal issues with the act, but I also have hard evidence that if we rebel against it, the entire world's future will be imperiled. So, there's really only one sane choice here.
Open your eyes. Powerful people are using a tragedy to take over. Personal freedom is what Cap's fighting for. This is your choice to make.
The public overwhelmingly favors mandatory registration for all superhumans. Can millions of Americans be wrong?
Unfortunately, they can, Brian. Our country's history is littered with wrongs that most Americans approved of at the time. Slavery, the incarceration of Japanese Americans during World War II, the McCarthy hearings.
You know, guys, I'm starting to think comics might be political. Crazy. Well, it's time to make a pick that will change who we fight for the rest of the game. To sign the act or to rebel against it. Rebelling turned S.H.I.E.L.D. on us, but with the helpful arrival of Luke Cage, and as Cap puts it, the moral high ground on our side, we have no problem escaping to our new secret HQ. Our rebellion means no Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, or Songbird on our side, but I do get Cap, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. Good to see the game doesn't stay true to the comics, or the split in teams would hurt me a lot more, regardless of which side I choose. Rushing to the aid of an anti-registration HQ under attack by Iron Man's thugs, I come across a collectible that unlocks Jean Grey for me. After beating her up so much in the last game, and sentencing her to death in Mephisto's realm, I'm glad we can let bygones be bygones. as I use her telekinetics to ragdoll shield agents all over the place. Black Widow tries to stop our way, but she's quickly reminded that we all have powers, and she definitely doesn't. If I beat 50 enemies with a character, I get a new outfit for them. And that's what really always matters, isn't it? Style. I admit my team comps at this point is just choosing heroes until I get their new fits. It's certainly a choice. It's certainly a choice. It's... Dear God, I wish it wasn't a choice. I'm starting to think everyone is just meant to look bad in this game. The shield forces swarming this base are becoming more than just a nuisance, and I'm struggling to stay afloat until I realize Iron Fist has a healing ability. By switching characters in and out so that Iron Fist can heal that particular character slot back up, I can heal my entire team. Even better when I discover leveling that ability to 5 makes it heal the whole team. Handy! Another win is discovering this mech a while back. It's been following us through the entire base, helping us out all the while. I also finally see why Cap thinks the moral high ground is why we will win. It is a great place to chuck our enemies off of. Yay for morality! Going up against Bishop, the final pro registration hero in the base, I prove I'm the world's worst strategist by the team I send up against him. Bishop's power is the absorption and redirection of energy. And I brought 3 heroes that all rely on energy powers. Genius! Good thing I can switch out heroes mid-fight, or we might have been doomed before we began. That change is all I need to ensure everyone survives. Well, almost everyone. Why did it have to die? If only Iceman was still alive, so he could die in the robot's place. In honor of that robot, we are now taking the fight to the pro registration forces and saving the heroes who have been captured before their transport to the Negative Zone prison is completed. Songbird tries to get in our way, but the power of friendship lays her out before she gets out much more than a peep. Lady Deathstrike also tries, but that's because she's being mind-controlled into attacking us. Because, remember, Iron Man and the other pro registration heroes can't help but be pure villains. She's not any trouble, but it still makes me laugh when the thing comes out of nowhere to clobber her. He doesn't even know what's going on. He just saw a supervillain and got to punching. Joining with us, he helps free the prisoners while we get ambushed by Yellowjacket. Getting squashed enlightens me that blocking is not the way to handle my big new friend, but the game is very compassionate and keeps dropping health packs for me to use here. That, and his slow wind-up attacks, means it doesn't take much for us to topple this giant. Oh, and I thought Sue losing her hair was bad. When a civilian crisis occurs, it's our job to save them as the heroes we are, regardless of the dangers of a trap. Of course, being this is the Civil War, the civilians aren't actually in danger, and Iron Man's team is waiting to ensnare us. Iron Man blocks off our escape and says he's here to offer us all amnesty, aka we surrender and take the deal to become the government's cops against other heroes, or to prison we all go. The exact dilemma that started this whole thing in the first place. I don't know why he thought anything changed. Nothing like acting friendly while pointing the equivalent of a massive gun at us and saying, or else. Cap re-evens the odds and we take our chance to fight our way out of this trap. That seems pretty easy to do as Hulk rampages through all of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s forces, making light work of Bullseye, Wonder Man, She-Hulk, Molten Man, and War Machine again. I'm finding that this game is easier than its predecessor. Or, at least, that's what I was thinking until my fight with Iron Man is interrupted by Mr. Fantastic. Replacing Hulk with Human Torch so it's a proper family reunion, hoping that would make him go easy on me, I'm flabbergasted when Ben is clobbered in no time as Reed's twirling fist lay him out. Johnny's nearly down too, but when I try and heal him, I accidentally revive Ben instead. You'd think after all these years playing video games I wouldn't mispress a button, but I never learn. Replacing Ben immediately with Gambit, I lose Johnny now that I'm healless, and if that wasn't bad enough, the fight transitions at that point to include Iron Man as well. We have Cap on our side, but he's barely holding on, and despite my best efforts to prevent it, Reed's spin knocks out Susan. Damn, that is not okay, Reed. Mercilessly took out his whole family. including his own wife. Unleashing Gambit and Daredevil's fusion as revenge, we can take out Reed, but Iron Man still has plenty of health. Trying to only attack in between Tony's strikes and block what I can would work, if I had faster reflexes. As is, it's not enough, and Tony sends Gambit crashing into unconsciousness. I hope spamming my baton would eat through Stark's defenses fast enough, but the answer is no, and that's it. Full team down. The pro registration team has won despite my best efforts, even with the accidental resurrection of a teammate. At least this defeat keeps me from having bent any rules with that Ben Rez. I gotta look on the positive side. Maybe, if I let Tony die in the first mission, we'll all be better off? Probably not, but it sure is tempting. Another positive of this reset is I can at last play a true X-Men team as I restorm my way through Latveria. I'm now more competent with the use of fusions, using targeted ones each time I face off with a boss so I can destroy their health bars. Guided fusions work just as well, if not better at times, as it allows me to demolish both the bosses and their underlings at the same time, even if it doesn't do as strong individual damage. This is why we don't have any casualties by the time we're back in the battle at the plant. Only to break that streak when Molten Man gets revenge as his last act is to drop a fire barrage, bringing Sue to critical health, which She-Hulk is happy to transform into 0 health. My other 3 hold the line, with the Thing spamming his charge to cut down any registration heroes in our way. With both Iron Fist and Human Torch having targeted fusions with Ben, Reed and Iron Man can't last long. Iron Fist may not heal for a huge portion, in fact it's really a small amount, but any heal is a good heal. We'd still have gone down if I wasn't prepared to block Reed's spins. Even if I do block, my allies drop to no health whenever Reed spin slaps us. It's so demeaning. I don't think my allies can fall though if I'm not in control of them. I'm not 100% sure about that, but no matter how low in HP they seem to get, they never get KO'd when I'm not playing them. Plus, the game has implemented invisible walls on all fall-off points, which was the major killer of my heroes in the other games. All in all, things seem hopeful for us with Iron Man beaten, until the mind-controlled villains turn on us. Because of course they do! It's a good thing Nick Fury makes a sudden reappearance to help us remove these explosives. Green Goblin and Venom don't offer much trouble, or so I think. As we dispose of the bombs they've planted, Venom webs the center hole to stop us from throwing the bombs into it. Ben's charge attack doesn't land any hits on the web, but by the time I realize that method's not working, the bomb counter has gone down more than I thought. Even though I managed to toss it, it's a heartbeat too late, and we're all dead. You know, I'm starting to not like this level very much. Speed became the name of the game after that, as I rushed back to that level. I go with the rather solid squad the game chose for me of Daredevil, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, and Wolverine instead of choosing my own. They're more than satisfactory for reaching the boss fight with Tinkerer, and I don't blame them for what happens here. As we dismantle Tinkerer's robot's 4 legs, I lose track of the hubbub of which legs have been destroyed and which haven't. Far as I can tell, all 4 of them have been broken, and I start to worry a glitch has happened. No, I just had broken a rear leg most of the way, but not fully. That extended fight taught me a valuable lesson. Turns out you can lose a hero even if you're not playing them. Spider-Man of all heroes is the one we lose here. I promise you I'm crying, but you can't tell with the heat of these explosions burning away the tears. From there, I'm letting the X-Men take over and get me back to where I want to be. This team only has 2 weaknesses. 1, they're a little squishy, and I spend far too much of the game worrying they'll kill over at any moment. And 2, the core group lacks a targeting fusion to help me take out bosses quickly. But the first problem is easily remedied with unrelenting feral force courtesy of Wolverine. His main power of lunging rage is extremely fast, has a rather cheap energy cost, and does pretty good damage, so that's basically the game now. Spam, 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 claw, claw, claw. The second problem is fixed when Jean Grey joins the squad, so I can still be an X-Men team, but now I have a targeting fusion that destroys every boss's health. Even takes out both Molten Man and She-Hulk at the same time. Now I'm crying tears of joy, especially when I see it take out Mr. Fantastic like he's not fantastic at all. Suddenly, things aren't so slicey and nicey, as Iron Man lets loose, ripping Wolverine from my team, followed quickly by Storm. Ruh-roh! That took a turn! I'm not about to lose to Stark again, so it's time for Iron Fist to jump in and keep both himself and Jean Grey in the fight. Thankfully, when I want to avoid Iron Man, that's not hard to do so, and when I'm close, I make sure to block quite a bit. That beats Stark, but we still have Venom and Gabi to worry about, but there's still only 2 of us. It does not matter that Jean and Danny's fusion can demolish the villain's health. They'll just keep switching out while Fury takes his sweet time getting those bombs disconnected. What does matter is that I can keep healing, and more importantly, that I'm paranoid about the webbing blocking the hole. That webbing is all over the place on how fast I can break it. I think the targeting on it isn't the greatest, but Iron Fist AoE power used, admittedly in a panic, does break the web in time and allow me to dunk the last explosive. Only for that to really be the 3rd of 4 bombs, and Fury screws up, leading to a massive explosion, and who knows how many are wounded or dead. Less than people think, as we're all presumed dead in the blast. I'll be sure to bury Wolverine and Storm, since that's actually the case for them. Fury can't get Iron Man or Cap to believe the mind-controlled villains have lost control and committed murder, because nobody trusts Nick Fury, because he's Nick Fury. Why doesn't he let us tell them though, as we're much more trustworthy? Who knows? Regardless, you'd think the presumed deaths of most of the major superhero community would have had more of an effect on people, but thanks a lot for not caring, guys. Tell me Reed's at least heartbroken that the rest of the Fantastic Four are dead. Wolverine and Deadpool both have extraordinary healing factors, but everyone really thinks they both died in that explosion? 14 heroes, 14 super-powered heroes presumed dead, with absolutely no bodies found, and yet no questions to ask? Well, alright then. Guess we better get to solving who's behind the mind-controlled villain attacks. I'll slap sense into everyone later. Maybe I should start with slapping Fury first, though, since the guy helping us solve this mystery that Fury has vouched for is also suspect numero uno, the Tinkerer. Fury vouches for him, so I guess I better learn to salute like a good little soldier and not question further. Let's break in a prison, rack up far more crimes committed, and look for some answers.
Necessary.
I admit, I may have gone a tad far there. After proving so vital in the last mission, I can't bring myself to trade out Jean Grey and Iron Fist. Jean's Pyroblast wipes out S.H.I.E.L.D. with ease, and her fusion with Iron Fist removes any obstacle that has a tad too much health for my liking. If only we'd stop letting Maria Hill insult us, and then run away without even trying to catch her.
She's going for her chopper!
Oh my god, promote that trooper immediately! What an absolute MVP! Maria Hill doesn't even bother to offer up a fight, the smartest thing she's done all game, and hands us the key to the Negative Zone prison. Penance is guarding the portal, but you know how in many games when you beat a boss and unlock them as a playable character, they're way worse than they were a boss? Penance is the opposite of that. He's such a weak and slow boss fight that I even pause mid-fight so I can simply watch him offer up such a sad performance. But playing has him right after, he's got a pretty good set of abilities, especially the one that deals damage to anyone who damages him. He is squishier than I'd like, but that's why we keep Iron Fist on hand. Until Equinox, a random mind-controlled supervillain, does far more damage than I'd expect and rips Danny away from me. Yikes! The problem with targeted fusions is that while they can do an insane amount of damage, they can also be a major waste whenever the boss becomes momentarily invulnerable due to reaching a certain level of health. Commonly, multiple times a fight. That extension of the fight is what did Danny in, and it's what keeps leaving us dangerously close to death. Guided and clearing fusions are enough to maintain our hold on life until the whole prison goes to hell. As Cap makes the less than stellar decision to free all prisoners at once, the mind-controlled villains finally reveal themselves as no longer under Tony's control. The nanites that have been mind-controlling the prisoners, now known as the Fold, have become self-aware and are seeking to mind-control everyone. Who could have ever thought that mind-controlling villains would backfire? Oh, literally everyone except for Tony and Reed? Well, saying I told you so won't help us now. The bright side of world-dominating, mind-controlling machines is that we can put aside our differences and rejoin as a full team. Remember, there's no problem or disagreement so great that the sudden appearance of a common enemy can't make it magically go away. It worked for this game, it worked for Arcane, and every government throughout history is sure it can work for them. Too bad, often it does. Who needs a team though when I have Jean Grey and Invisible Woman to burn and slam everyone in my way? Which is a huge deal of people as this prison is full of so many mind-controlled prisoners. Where are all the lawyers of these people? This can't be legal. Alright, so there's one lawyer accounted for actively beating them up, so I guess that answers that question. Bullseye, Grim Reaper, and Molten Man keep popping back up for round 2, or in Grim's case, round 3, as he does it twice in one mission alone, and I gotta wonder, could we not have hired more enemies? Whirlwind and Moonstone are here too, which is a nice addition, but even after the world is taken over by the Fold, I keep getting attacked by all the same faces. It's not the most major complaint, but how many times do we have to teach the same lesson to the same heroes and villains over and over again when there's a huge roster of characters that could have been here instead? I like variety and the face is trying to kill me. Sue me. Wakanda is the last line of defense against the Fold, and I have one answer to its problems. Hulk smash. It's very effective. Beating Goblin and Venom means we can remove their nanites and unlock both villains as playable. I mean, have you seen a more trustworthy face than this? Surely not. My team of reformed villains aren't as powerful as many of my other teams, but I did say I like variety. Just like Penance was a weak boss, but a pretty good playable character, Songbird is the same when she lets loose her sonic cries on the enemy. But once I have the endgame in sight, it's only right I bring in the classic Avengers. Tony and Steve together once again so they can bond. Plus, Thor and Hulk here to do the actual work. Honestly, I really only need Thor. I unlocked him shortly before while defending Wakanda's city, and his hammer uppercut is extremely lethal. Phenomenal for every situation. The Tinkerer pops back up as the real mastermind behind the Fold, because of course he is, and Thor just bops him right back down. Nick Fury, now mind-controlled by the Fold and possessing the powers of many of the heroes and villains we fought in the game, is popping up and trying to stop us from finishing the Fold's control over everyone. He has a helicarrier-sized health pool, but he is not the slightest danger. All the characters he could use the powers of, and he insists on using Electro. 1. That was the first super we beat in the whole game when we were at our weakest. So that's a strange choice, Fury. 2. Thor is immune to electric damage, which Fury can't seem to grasp. All in all, not a very powerful final boss. It's not what I'd call a fight of the ages, but a win is a win. With the world saved, we all forget about the massive moral and political disagreements we just had. The president and Congress hate to be downers, so they repeal the registration bill, and we don't have to go back to fighting. Plus, Fury is pardoned for invading a country. It's so nice to see no repercussions for anyone. USA! 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 Huzzah! After 15 hours, 51 minutes, 5 hours, 48 minutes, of which was my final run, and 2 full losses with Spider-Man, Wolverine, Storm, and Iron Fist as my final casualties, I've beaten Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 without a full team wipe. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. I now have a hankering to rewatch Earth's Mightiest Heroes after playing both Ultimate Alliance games. Let's all go do that, in fact. I'll see you there, friends.